Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together!
Yeah!
Let's do this. I scoop her up into my arms and head back into the palace. The library door looms over me, and then I realize I don't have any of the keys.
Oh no keys for you.
None. Portia hasn't been around all morning. There's no one to let me in. Because the library is always locked at all times.
Hang on, wait, what? We were told by Portia that we didn't have anything to do because of NADIA'S headache. So how has Portia not been around all morning, since this is all one day?
Because Portia would have, basically seen us at the beginning of the day and been like, everything's called off. I'm going to take a break in my hut and nobody will see each other because nothing happens without Nadia. Except for Julian studying in the library locked in.
Or wherever he is.
No,
and
he
also...
leaned out from the library window.
Oh, that's true.
He's in the library and he's locked in there.
Which sounds very silly.
We should just knock and see if he'll let us in.
Excuse me, do you ever think you need to take a piss?
Julian, could you maybe, let me in?
Hi, hello? Hello, see?
There's no one to let me in. Frustrated, I press my hand to the elaborately wrought vines, urging the door to open through sheer force of will. The first locking mechanism releases. Then the second. I don't think that's force of will. I think that's force of magic, actually.
This is actually where I'm kind of entertained right now. Okay, so, hang on. For 5 seconds, something occurred to me between episodes.
Okay.
Can you imagine you play this route for the first time, and after what you saw, you go, yeah, Asra, you're gonna be really fucking pissy about this person we barely know from the prologue, who, kind of invaded your space, and probably, depending on how you interpret it, just was a very interesting character.
Okay.
Right? And Astra's reactions go, fuck that guy. And the guy who leans over and goes, I'm gonna play with you. I go, hi! And, you're like, ugh.
So it's really funny, if you'd never played any of this game before, and you chose this route first after playing the prologue, Astra would look kind of bitchy.
At
just
least
being like,
to me,
because
I was
Julian is just friendly, playful out the window of going, we're gonna do a good thing, cure the plague. And Astra's like...
And doing that kind of teasy weird, come on! I'm gonna do everything without you! You know, clearly, that is, I'm used to sort of playing.
I'm being friendly and familiar.
Uh-huh, and Astra
just...
going, is like, whoa.
I'll just walk away without answering even. It was amazing.
That was quite a lot.
I'm also this route is starting with the most magic being used by our apprentice that I've noticed so far.
Yes.
Straight out, this is a very magical apprentice. I wonder if they're doing that because it's well, you're more attached to Asra, so of course you've learned more about your own magic.
Which is hilarious,
Maybe?
because you're supposed to be attached to him in all of them.
But not in the same way.
I guess.
I mean, you're not dating him in all of them.
No, but you're not dating all of them in all of them, you know?
The first locking mechanism releases, then the second, and then nothing. I'm locked out.
No!
How am I supposed to enter now? I say to the general hallway, except for probably to Faust, in my arms.
Yeah,
because we're still carrying Faust.
We are. We absolutely are.
Oh.
Hey, why? Fancy seeing you here. What you doing?
Holding a snake?
A snake?
A snake. Faust. Scritches? She leans forward, peering at the door, and then looks over at me in surprise and admiration.
Did you unlock those two? Lady designed this door herself, you know. It should be pretty hard to magic open.
Should it? Was it designed to resist magic? Is Nadia not
Hang on, I thought that was a magical ability in order to block off magic. It's not just I constructed a device in which it is very difficult to magic because somehow its inherent qualities resist magic, so therefore wouldn't that mean that the lock itself is somehow magical?
What we're saying is that Nadia isn't only an engineer, she is a magical engineer.
Yes.
A nerd would be freaking smitten.
Yes.
But not romantically. Just oh my god, huge intellectual crush.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do please let me admire your work and learn from you.
Please! I'll be right here.
Yep.
Pretty hard to magic open. But here you are, nearly breaking the whole thing down. Ha! I love it when people are legally going into places where they're deliberately locked out of around the castle. That doesn't mean anything about somebody's character or potentially going, holy shit, if you didn't cast a spell on purpose, your magic's a little wild,
Or,
depending on how the rules of this world work.
if you're just trying to force this door open, even though there's not a lot of magical people, except for all the magical people,
Yeah.
maybe the library's not all that secure after all.
Also, why does she assume that we were opening the door?
Yeah, why does she know? Why would she think that those locks were opened?
Because as far
By
as I can
us.
tell from all the other routes, nobody else is really able to detect magic.
Well, so for
Nobody
me,
else can really cast that spell, except that there was that soft implication that Portia was super interested in magic and Asra was going to show her how, and then it just sort of skims over it.
in Julian's route. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to say is, there's got to be a visible unlock to each of the locks,
Mhm.
because she could just see that it has happened, and
Or
two,
one that she knows. Because the thing is it could be visible, but it's like visible to people who are in the
which is
know.
fine. It doesn't have to be distinctive. It just has
Yeah.
to be visible, because, or it may some sort of sensory detectable. They have been unlocked and aren't locked.
Mhm.
Because she didn't hear them being unlocked. I say,
At least
or
I assume.
based on what she said,
Yeah.
she's like, "What are you doing here? Oh, look at that." The thing is I think it's interesting that she didn't think, "Oh my God, someone forgot to lock two of the locks."
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's really weird. Like, why does she immediately jump to, you did a thing clearly?
Yes.
Instead of, oh God, who's been trying to break into the library where my brother has fucking locked his dumbass in?
Spoilers, actually.
I
Just say, or again, going, "Why are two of the locks unlocked?"
Yeah.
Yes. Break the whole thing down. Huh. She wiggles her fingers like she's imitating my magic, and then gets a glint in her eye.
I guess my lady's got a real eye for talent, huh? I knew you were good, but to really say it is something else.
I guess it is impressive. Oh, it's nothing special.
Are you assertive or are you not?
I don't feel like either of these are the best linguistic choice, but it would be like, because I feel like Kohai would be more like, I understand now, it's something I can do. Not, it's impressive.
Uh-huh.
And also, I don't think Kohai would really dismiss their ability, so it's a little closer to, I guess it is impressive, if that makes sense.
Because I guess it's impressive, you
Going,
know?
and also it can be recognizing that Portia saying it is impressive, is going, I validate your opinion, instead of dismiss it.
But also at the same time, like, going, well, I guess it's impressive, is a little bit like...
I don't know which one it is.
I don't know either.
It could be very much of, I guess it is impressive.
Uh-huh.
Or, I guess it's impressive.
Or, I guess it is impressive.
Yeah, it depends on what
We've
emphasis is.
We've talked about basically
impressive.
like emphasis on words in regards to the English
I
language
guess
a lot.
it is impressive.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yes, it is impressive.
Yep. I'm gonna go with the suggests that you're uncomfortable and just sort of, like scattered thoughts. The like shy.
Right.
So if it just said, oh, it's nothing special, but that one's more clear in tone to me, but we're gonna say I guess it's impressive. I guess it's impressive?
Of course it is! So, what else can you do, huh? Can you explode things? Make me disappear! Oh! Make me disappear and then explode me.
I do not think you want to be exploded at all. That is somewhat of a fatal prospect. Where you would...
I just want to know if it's possible. Not that I want you to, there's a difference. Would it be within the realms of your abilities?
I think if I could blow up anything, I could blow up a person, yes.
That is a really morbid thought.
Because yeah, it is a little, it's a little dark, actually.
Hey,
A little, probably not. Do you want me to try and explode you? Because I won't.
What? No, but it'd be pretty exciting if you could, don't you think?
I think your idea of excitement and mine are, a bit different, perhaps?
Just a wee little bit. Except for the fact, God, I completely forgot. Excuse me, I bet you somebody was yelling at me.
What?
That was in the memory where Julian is in the past, in the library. Me, complete dingus. He's locked in the library. He's not.
What?
That was the past.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we both forgot!
Oh, God, we both forgot it was a
Oh
freaking
my
movie.
God, sorry!
So, yeah, he's not in there. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, we took a break between recording
Because
one and the other.
between
because
episodes,
we had to get food and stuff.
It's been a day, and
It's
I'm like...
okay.
And I'm just like, right, that wasn't actually there.
My apologies! Oh my God!
On the other hand, he has been locked in there before.
He has!
But not in this
But
verse.
they didn't know that. So
That's okay.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. That was my bad. I started it, but my friend has continuity, so here we go.
Woo! I could remember something.
I suppose.
Just teasing you, Kohai. You've got some real talent for magic, but you don't need me telling you that. You were trying to get into the library, right? Let me get that open for you.
Let me open that up for you. Also, though, going...
Let me open that up for you.
Don't you think it's weird that I was just trying to get into the library and that I have no, basically path of operations if I want things?
Again, that doesn't make sense.
Portia's nowhere to be found, but is there someone somewhere that she would normally be found or someone to ask if you need things?
No, there's no other staff here. It's just Portia.
Uh-huh.
And the Chamberlain when they exist. And I think there's one other...
The courtiers when they exist.
Oh, and there's one or two guards who actually have names, which is like Nikolai and something else.
She sets to unlocking the mechanism, humming softly as she does.
And done! Woo! No wonder nobody ever goes in there, huh?
Because it takes 5 minutes to unlock the door. If you have a shambling monster coming after you down the hall, oh God! Click, 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 click.
Oh, before I forget...
She rustles around in her apron, then pulls out something glimmering and green. The emerald necklace Nadia gifted me.
Oh my God!
They
okay.
just decided you had it gifted to you?
I was going to say...
When did we get that? It's okay.
Hang on! Okay, yeah, because, okay, so if you play the prologue and you don't agree to take presents from Nadia, this is really fucking weird. And I wonder if it's just the fact, so it might be basing itself off of, the prologue we actually have on here.
So
and I've kind of wondered sometimes where it seems to make choices where, but that never happened for this character?
So the thing is they have a certain set of things that happen. And the thing is even if you refuse from Nadia, she still forces the necklace upon you.
Oh, that's true.
She does.
She does.
She does.
Yes, she does. Okay.
When did she...
You must have dropped it last night. You know, when you were at the fountain.
I must have dropped it when I really didn't want it because I said no thank you to gifts and lavish decorations and being sort of a kept pet. But thank you, Portia. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's very nice.
It's very thoughtful.
Oh no, I must have dropped it.
I fished it out for you. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone you dropped it.
She holds it up to me and then hesitates, putting it back. You could keep it.
You could have it, you say instantly. So, about yesterday, I'd really appreciate that if you didn't mention what you saw to milady.
Okay, so we're gonna go flashback in Asra's memory, now flashback to the actual. This one has a very different setup.
It really does.
It's wildly different.
Uh-huh.
They don't want you to get bored. You need to know these are all very different. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna have a flashback within a flashback soon. I'm expecting it.
I saw. Portia must mean the conversation she had with JULIAN? Considering all secrets I'm keeping from Nadia as well, it only seems fair. Why would we be keeping secrets from Nadia? How long have we been employed by Nadia? Is this route, a longer timeline than the other ones?
That's also really interesting because everybody else's really was she's like, you go to the palace, except that we really don't do that with some of the other ones. We actually just run off and go do other things, and the shit with Nadia is never really brought up.
Okay, the thing is...
At least in Julian's route, remember?
In Julian's route, you first are at the palace, and then you go missing for 2 days where you stay with him, and then you come back to the palace, and no one noticed you were gone, and we made Portia cry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm I don't understand this at all, actually.
And so, in this one, they're setting up that those things don't need to be set up, they're just already here.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting, because if I'd never played either of those, I'd be like, this one would feel way more mysterious. So this one might actually be set up harder as a mystery than the other ones, because if you'd never played any of the other routes, and you were starting here, you'd just be learning so many bits of information that are filling in,
right.
And you'd have no idea that you're supposed to be working for Nadia. You'd go, I'm doing what? Oh, a thing happened, and I'm learning along with the character.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going, also, we're keeping a bunch of secrets from this Nadia person. Why? What are those?
Mm-hmm.
You know? It seems only fair. Of course.
Great! Well then, enjoy the library! Make sure to lock up when you're done, okay? Now I'll give you your necklace because I was secretly holding it hostage. Yes.
And Portia hands a necklace over to me and then leaves, bouncing her step as she turns down another hallway.
Because that clearly was a threat that would have bothered you at all. Because it especially sounds like... So I think it's super funny in the way that this game is set up, that if you are at all attracted to, but you end up picking somebody else just to see how it goes, this would sound really fucking strange for your character to suddenly be like, and I care nothing about any of the hot people that I just flirted with aggressively over the entire prologue.
It's true.
And now I only care about this one person. Like, I have sort of levied that complaint before, and I'm gonna say that I feel like that probably is gonna be a persistent theme. Because it seems like people, in some ways, do not know how to write, basically, a multifaceted story where you have a character who is at, one point they diverge and actually decide to choose someone, and they still can then find other people attractive, but they still always go back to their choice, as it were.
There's a level of incredible compulsive, like basically what you would call a Christian monogamy.
Yes.
Of the assumption that once you have decided who you like, you never experience any attraction to anyone else ever if it's a pure or true relationship.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that's what they're trying to do here, but it is a suggestion that they've been inundated with the surrounding culture to basically be submerged in that archetype.
Right.
So that's what they're writing, because there is this idea in most American written romance, because of that Christian influence, of going, and traditional influence, which of course is grounded in the same place, traditionalist influence, of going, if you truly love and want your spouse, and it's a deep, profound relationship, you will never have attraction or sexual interest or even thoughts about anybody else in that way. All your other experiences will be 100% platonic.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't truly love and are invested with and deeply connected to your partner.
Which is
and this game, in all the roots, suggests that you do completely lose all awareness of all attractive qualities and or desirability of every other person when you pick your person.
Which is actually one of the things we talked about when we initially first started this game. I think we talked about it later on in Julian's route, but it was one of those things of going like, why would you lose that, basically? Why would you go from being like, I'm gonna... Because we really did, pick all, a lot of the main stuff in the first one, just kind of going, sure, let's find out what this is like, right? And it was really confusing to go from, I'm flirting with basically everyone, to suddenly, I think nothing of anyone else, except... hey bro, no homo. It was so strange.
It's also happened in a good number of other dating games that have roots as well.
And I find it to be it feels very unnatural.
It does.
Because it also, though, in that way, it gives you way more of that very strong isolationist romance feeling, where it's like, I have no connection to anyone else, which is why I think for both of us, we found the endings also to both of the routes that we played so far to be sort of lacking, because you don't have connections to other people. It's like you don't really actually have friends. You don't have any other confidants other than basically your romantic love interest.
And I was going to say, and isolationist fantasies can be very fun. Because, because they're a very clear, direct path to love, romance, engagement, connection.
In some ways, can be very, lack complications.
I say, and they can be very easy to write, too, because you don't have to involve a whole bunch of other relationships. One of the things that's something to be aware of is that if you're exposed to lots of isolationist fantasies where primarily the romance and important bonding and connection happens all when you're alone with the person and you don't have a wider social group or friends that you're connected to, functionally connected to, not a statement of, yeah, those are your friends.
Right.
And that it can start to make you think that it should work like that or is natural to work like that in regular life. And one of the things that happens a lot of times in abusive relationships is they try to isolate you.
Yes.
And they play on the romantic ideal of isolation, of going, we only need each other and we can do this. And I've even had a partner use this against me. Couple of them actually, but one very notably, of going, if we can't solve this problem ourselves, basically we're not a good couple, we're not skilled people, and so I know we can do this by ourselves without talking to other people, without bringing our friends in, or your friends, because
talking to a relationship
anything. It was just no, we're good enough, we can do this, and it was very harmful. So keeping that separate, like, reality versus fantasy, and going, I'm being taught through my fictional media that isolation is ideal and great, versus in reality having a connective and value and, like,
diverse,
warm and diverse social group is really important.
And also, knowing your partner outside of strictly romantic or sexual situations is really important.
Or isolated situations.
Yeah, or isolated situations.
Who are they with other people? The fact that I have worked with so many men in my life, because I keep working in manufacturing, and I'm often one of the only girls there, because it's a lot of, heavy lifting, hard work, long hours. Not that women can't do it, there's just less of them that want to.
And there's also a lot of people who try to aggressively desocialize you from doing it, just to be perfectly honest.
There's also a lot of people that are just, like, basically trying to casually push you out or be, sexist
because you're not a guy.
You're not one of the guys, and they can't all be one of the guys when you're there.
Yeah.
I say, anyway, they talk about their girl partners horrifically. And I'm like, I imagine some of them have been together for a very long time, and when I see them with their partners, at, like, either picnics or activities or whatever, they often seem happy together, but I'm like, all they do is shit on their wives and girlfriends while they're at work.
Yeah, we both have actually noted, so I've worked with my friend before, both as being equals in a similar position and actually where my friend was a manager, and it was really interesting where you would hear different dialogue from the basically fairly cis heteronormative society that we were basically inundated with when we would work in those specific environments, and it was just like, oh my god, some of you guys are mean as hell. And then you're like, oh my god, I just love her to death, and everybody around them also. Even if you had a guy who was like talking affectionately about someone, he would inevitably, it felt like, get corrected, as it were, about, well, that sounds gay, basically, or god, you're so, you're pussy whipped, as it were.
I'll say, or there would be the thing of, I'm talking really nicely about my partner, but I'm going to lace in insults.
Yes.
In an affectionate tone of voice. At any rate,
sorry.
So just a thing to know about what the fantasy may be teaching you that can be valuable to contrast to in real life.
Which is not to say that this is endorsement at all. The thing is like, fiction is fiction, and the thing is though it should also stay that way, but also recognizing that fiction is written by people who come from your world. It is sometimes a good time to take a step back and going, what am I actually engaging with?
And do I feel like, because of my immersion and how engaging the story is, that I want something like this to happen in real life, and is that reasonable?
Yeah.
Taking a breath, I walk into the musty darkness, unprepared for what secrets the room beyond has to offer me. Have we never been in? Have we ever been in? Secrets between pages.
That sounds very erotic.
It does, actually. Just slip your fingers between the pages.
Woo!
Dust and silence greet me as I enter the library, still holding Faust, which Portia did not talk to at all, and Faust did not talk to Portia.
I mean, Faust can't. Remember how we've already established that?
Did not interact with or move towards Portia at all.
Yeah, maybe Portia doesn't like snakes.
Maybe the snake doesn't like Portia either. We didn't mention Faust
at all. Nope.
So we still have Faust in our arms like baby, and dust and silence greet us. Motes float aimlessly in the pale sunlight. Tickles of warm, familiar magic lick against my skin, like Faust kisses.
And then you realize it actually is Faust.
Kissing.
Faust. Atmosphere.
I will taste the dust.
Uh-huh.
Right. Welcoming me further in. Asra, how did I not notice it before? Was I so preoccupied with investigating Julian's desk I missed it? How did you not exist at all in the scene with Portia? You like people. You're very social.
Which is actually really strange.
It's really weird. Why did they
like Faust is like obviously not an animal, and is
well,
very
not
much,
a regular animal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, not an animal in the sense of no animal fucking does this nonsense, kind of thing. Like that's what I mean. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think I've ever had
Faust!
a snake be like, ooh, other person. Like, whenever I've had snakes, they usually don't care. They usually like whenever I've had animals, if they want to get higher, that's usually their motivation. You are the taller one, let me get on top of you. It's not me being social, it's
Faust
you're a taller object.
seems to be sentient and sapient, even if limited linguistically.
Yes.
So, yeah, not a true animal.
Fine.
Do you think there's something in here? Faust?
Fine.
The little bleh. God, I loved owning a snake. I never, ever, ever got tired of their little tongue.
I love when they stick their tongue out and it just sits there for a second. And then they pull it back, like they're just sort of like, I forgot I had one.
I have seen that a couple of times where they sort of like flick it out really fast and it waves through the air to catch, the flavors. But then it sort of slows down and just stops. Because they got distracted somehow.
It's
And I
really
sort of and pull it back in.
and they're like, oh yeah.
But it's extremely rare that I've seen with the snakes I've been around.
Yeah.
All right.
Fine.
Old lessons fill my mind. Old lessons from not that long ago, because we haven't known each other very long.
Only a few years.
Okay, but what I love is we haven't known each other very long. These very odd lessons. And going...
Ancient.
The funny thing is there's relative ages on things. And I think everyone will know exactly what this is. Is just sometimes you go, God, it was ages ago the last time I had pizza. It's a month ago.
Yeah.
And you go, God, we haven't known each other all that long. It's been 6 months, you know?
Right? Oh God, the human mind is so easily malleable like that.
Well, and it's also basically just a value of what does this mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
Of going, God, I haven't had a shower in ages. It's been 2 days.
Uh-huh.
You know? Anyway.
Yeah.
Clearing away lingering doubts. If there is one thing I've learned about magic, it's how little I truly know. Perhaps there are answers in here, hiding between disguised pages.
Disused.
Oh, sorry, disused. I was going to say disguised pages. Disused. Pardon me, in case you don't know, and this is your first playthrough with Lies and Scandal, I, Lies, am dyslexic, and so I may misread things occasionally in that vein of things.
Mm-hmm.
I feel magic settle around me, gently guiding me towards a shelf. Since all that is in here is mostly shelves, that makes sense. 2 books stand out from the rest. You know, like when you're in a cartoon and there's only 2 of them that are actually animated panels, and so you know the other ones are not going to move.
I love that is so much old. Like shows is so fucking funny.
I can feel my master's touch on each spine, but which one do I pick? Because as an adult, I can only have one of the 2, even as I am alone, making my own choices in a room by myself.
The big tattered tome or the elegant purple codex.
I just want to shove in the Tumblr post right here, right at this moment, and be like, and then I realized I was an adult. I can have both.
I love that where they're like, I just realized that as an adult, I can just eat fucking chocolate ice cream all day if I want to.
Uh-huh.
Like it doesn't mean you won't have necessarily consequences.
But
and
people
that's like,
have told you can't.
yeah.
And you literally can.
And you're like, no, I can go out and I could buy ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You know what I love?
And every single break in between.
You know what I really love? There's this thing on TikTok, this meme where it's basically, you know what happens when people like me have adult money? And it's basically a bunch of,
Yes.
nerds and people with very niche interests and, basically people deep into fantasy and things like that, showing off what they've spent their big real job money on, whether it's fursuits, whether it's 100 ferns, whether it's a real, like a custom made suit of armor, whether it's just like 500 paintings, whether it's like 10,000 little custom handcrafted dice, whatever it is.
Right.
And they're going, and it's basically, while it's a cute thing and it's a cute peek into people's lives and stuff, it's also a really neat, like, empowering thing if you look at it in a certain way.
Right.
Because it's telling you, you really can do whatever you want with your money. Once your basic needs are met, if indeed they ever are, where you're like, I have shelter and I've got food, I can really spend my money however the fuck I want.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if it's small amounts at a time, it slowly adds up into this life is uniquely mine because these are the things that I have bought, that no one else has.
Right.
All right, well, the Elegant Purple Codex. A codex sounds boring if I'm just looking for, like, interesting times. And honestly, if I were Kohai, I'd be going, does either of them more strongly smack of Asra? That would be me.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was like, I
want to know if there's a difference between them. But for me, the big tattered tome sounds like it's been used far more than an Elegant Purple Codex. So I'm one of those people where I'm very careful with my books, and I've loaned books out to people before where they've been like, oh, you've never read this? And I'm like, no, I've read it 3 times. And they stare at me, and I know then that I'm going to get the book back damaged by my standards, because if they can't tell I've read it, then that means their books never look like that after they've read them.
Yeah, I've had that problem for a long time.
But for me, sometimes I will pick up books that are battered in a specifically looking like they've been read many times kind of way, because you can tell by how loose the pages are and stuff, as opposed to just being stored poorly.
Right.
Because it means somebody or somebody's loved them. So we're going to go for the big tattered one.
Yes.
Poink! I pulls the heavy tome from its high shelf, staggering back under its weight before lowering it to the nearby desk. I imagine if Faust is just wrapped around me, perhaps?
Probably, Faust, your neck is mine.
Hi, I am a scarf.
That is what I am.
Just
Hello.
a scarf.
Scarf.
You are warm and I am a scarf. I will tuck my head into the edge of your garment and just...
Yes. Which actually a lot of snakes do. Some people are like, oh my god, it's wrapping around my neck, it's trying to kill me. I'm like, no.
It's trying to be warm on all sides.
Do you understand that snakes are reptiles?
They
do not have, basically for the most part, the ability to self-regulate their own heat. And you are a mammal. You are an animal that creates your own heat. And reptiles typically gain heat from other things. So they really like to be around large areas where they can cover a large amount of space, so they will be warm.
So I'm going to tell you, if you are a person that wears a bra, and you have a snake that will fit in your bra, when it is feeling calm, or when it is feeling cold, it will absolutely seek out and get in and snuggle up in your bra, because it is warm and cozy.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because they'd be like, this is the ideal place to sleep. It'd be even better if there were sunlight on it, because then it could be warm on the outside too, but yeah. It's cozy.
Anyway.
All right, staggering back under its weight, disheveling Faust a bit, before lowering it to the nearby desk. I have noodle arms, apparently, or this tome is almost the size of me, because I am not actually weak. Loneliness emanates from the neglected pages. It is worn as if it has been read many, many times and loved, but it must have been so long ago. Escaping into the air like a withered groan as I open it. Friend! The book is a friend?
Friend book.
Faust's tail wraps around my hand once more. It hadn't been around our hand before.
I see!
Once more.
I don't know where Faust is moving, but apparently Faust is wherever they need to be.
It's okay. Previously, at some point, the Faust be wrapping their tail around our hand. That's a proper usage, actually.
Yes.
All right. Dropping back into memory.
Dropping me back.
Oh, dropping me back into memory. Okay. So we're about to have another flashback that we've actually agreed is a flashback now, because last time Kohai was like, was that a memory?
Which I actually appreciate, because that was kind of actually a character development moment, because I don't think... For, like, in the other routes, there was really much of this is a learning process. It was kind of I don't know what's going on. Like, there was a lot of that.
Nerd was clueless.
Nerd was very clueless.
The whole way through.
God.
All clueless. Wow, it's an elevator.
So anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. It actually does a lot for us in regards to the YouTube algorithm.
Yep.
And please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch. We have some links in the description down below, and we would love to see you there. And I have been Scandal.
And for everybody who has watched either one or the other or both of our other playthroughs and has come here for this one as well,
the real VIPs.
You are so welcome, and we appreciate you, and do still love your comments and your engagement.
Yes.
And I have been Liz. And it was great playing with you. Bye-bye!